Well, the Conservatives are one big step closer to choosing their next leader. They've selected a date for the vote. We've got all the details from one of the people planning the leadership race, and we spoke to him in an exclusive interview right after party officials met. Dan Nolan is the co-chair of the organizing committee for the upcoming Conservative leadership race. He joins us from Toronto. Okay, Dan, let's not waste any time. The big question everyone wants to know, when are the Conservatives going to pick a new leader?
Well, thanks, Catherine. Thanks for the opportunity. So we are just going to be sending out a notice that we're going to be picking the leader on June 27th, Saturday, June 27th in Toronto.
Okay, and so why? That's a relatively short race, I would say. I know there was some speculation that this could run all the way through the summer. Why did you settle on June?
Well, I mean, a lot of us on the committee have had a lot of conversations with members over the last few weeks. And I don't think there was much of a desire to wait much longer. I think the difference between the last time around and this time around is obviously we're in a minority parliament situation, so we have to be ready. We have an obligation as the opposition party to be ready as quickly as we can, and this puts us in that position.
Okay, another thing that people are going to be wondering about, I imagine, is the size of the field. You, of course, were involved in the last leadership race, and you had quite a large field of candidates. Are you talking about doing anything? Have you settled on doing anything that might limit the number of people running this go-around?
We're still working through a bunch of the rules to try to address, and it's not just the size of the field, but many of the concerns with the last race, and obviously we set up those rules 4 years ago.
Yeah. So what are the big lessons you learned? What are the big things you'd like to change?
Well, first of all, in that case, there was a desire on the membership to take a longer time, to give an opportunity for a lot more candidates to come forward, and as I mentioned, that's not the case this time around. People want us to get this done, get it done as quickly as we can with running an efficient, transparent, and fair process, and that's what we're going to do. I would say there's a few technical things that we learned that we're going to try to address. We're going to try to give more time because we have a constitutional obligation to provide mail-in ballots for members. So we're going to try to give more time for that mailing to happen. Although, we I think did quite a good job since we had I believe the largest number of members vote in a leadership race, and also the highest percentage of party members vote in a leadership race last time around. It worked pretty well, but there's still an opportunity, I think, to do better. So we're going to try to put in a bit more cushion there when it comes to mailing out ballots, to make sure that every member who wants to vote has the opportunity to.
Okay, I want to go back to what I asked you about a moment ago. Last time, 2017, the bar for entry was you had to be able to raise $100,000. Can we safely say, even though it doesn't sound like you settled on a number, that it's going to be significantly higher this go around? Try to make the field smaller?
We've definitely heard from our members that they want the tests for entry to be more rigorous, and it's not necessarily just money. I mean, money is a good indication of organization and the ability to pull support together, but there's other tests in there. If you'll recall, one of our tests was the number of members that you needed to have to nominate you as a member. And there were tests for the number of jurisdictions that needed to be in, and the number of EDAs that needed to represent. So I think it's fair to say we're looking at all of those, because one thing we want to make sure, because we could be heading into an election as quickly as this is over, we want to make sure that the candidates, and hopefully there's a great many of them, but that the candidates will be well tested when it comes to organizational capability and fundraising capability.
Do you want to make it harder, though, for people to get into this race to some extent, to limit the number of people who run?
I don't think harder's the goal. I think we want to have serious candidates that are going to be very, very appealing to Conservatives and Canadians in general. We want somebody who's going to be the next Prime Minister.
We already are hearing a lot of names. I'm sure you're hearing perhaps even more than I am. Some of the same names, certainly, of people who are organizing already. When do you expect that people are going to start declaring that they're in this race? When can they officially declare?
Well, that's the thing. So this is incumbent on us. We need to come out with the rules and launch an official race before anybody can officially declare themselves a candidate. So that's up.
I imagine.
And start fundraising, set up accounts, doing all the things they need to do. So that's incumbent upon us to get that done as quickly as we can, and we're working hard to get that done.
We're talking weeks at this point, days?
I'm hoping it won't be weeks, is what I'm hoping.
Okay.
But like I said, so we're going to try to get that done as quickly as we can, and that's on us. And after that happens, it's more of a tactical question, I think, for some of the candidates as to if they want to be first or if they want to take their time and build a stronger organization, or how they want to approach that.
Do you know when you're going to set the cutoff for new members to the party?
We haven't fully come to ground on that yet.
Sounds like you might be getting close.
We're working on some dates, but it all hinged. I mean, frankly, right before I came on the air with you, we were just putting in the final spikes in the negotiation on the date. So everything falls back from the date because, as I mentioned, the mail-in ballot takes up quite a bit of time, and we want to make sure that we have a good amount of time to get that into members' hands.
Yeah. How tough is this quick turnaround for you and the other members of the committee?
Pardon me, I didn't.
How tough is the quick turnaround?
Well, doing it over the holidays hasn't been 100% easy, but it's we've got 18 people in the committee. My co-chair Lisa Rate's been great. The National Council of the party executive picked out some great people, many people who worked on the last leadership and other new members, and everybody's been very constructive, and they've done a great job in voicing their opinions, and it's been good to deal with everybody at this point. So
very quickly, I just want to ask you about debates. Still working that out as well, I imagine. You have a sense yet of how many?
We don't. We had several debates last time around. I'm not sure we'll be able, because we had more time. Mm-hmm. I think we'll wind up having fewer debates this time around. But again, we've appointed as one of our subcommittees of LEOC a debate subcommittee that Marc-Olivier Fortin, who's on the LEOC, has the Leadership Election Committee, has agreed to chair for us, and that committee is going to figure that out.
Okay, the last thing I want to ask you, Dan, you say you're already getting a lot of feedback from party members. I wonder, what is the number one thing that you want to accomplish setting this leadership race up that's going to make you feel like it was a success for those people you've been talking to?
Well, if you did last time around, I think we were quite successful in that, the party raised quite a bit of money during the process. We wound up having the most members we've ever had, the most members any political party has ever had, and the highest turnout for the vote. So if we can do something approaching that, I'll be very happy. But the reality is, we want to have a transparent, fair process, and we want the members, we want everybody to be assured that the Conservative members, their view will be heard, and that it will be a choice, and that it will be their choice, and that the leader, he or she, will have the backing of the party, and will be in a great position to face the government in the House and face the Canadian people in the next election. I
think I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, given the way that Mr. Scheer announced his resignation, some of the cloud around that, some of what we saw with Mr. Van Voot, are you worried that this is going to be a potentially nasty race, that this is going to provoke some further infighting?
Well, I've been involved in politics since I was in high school as a hobby more than anything. I can tell you that leadership races, I think, are a great time to discuss ideas. Mm-hmm. But there's also, there's going to be some hard feelings, and that's just the way it is. But we come together as Conservatives, and the next election, I have no doubt that we'll pull together as a team and give Canadians a real choice.
Thank you so much for your time today, Daniel, and I hope we can check back in with you as the race continues.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
You too.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.